I think one of the most amazing benefits of this practice is the amounts of norepinephrine, dopamine, and adrenaline that are released as you go into the ice. Because this is not about just feeling cold and feeling physical benefits, but there's so many mental benefits that you can receive from this practice. Um, Weight loss is also part of it, right? So as you go into the ice, your body does whatever it needs to stay warm. And so this process called thermogenesis happens where as your body is releasing all this norepinephrine, brown fat is activated and it actually eats carbs in order to create heat in your body. So there's so many cool things happening when you're in the ice and after you get out of the ice. All right, so let's start some.
Oh, so we make a little hooch for our nooch.
That's what I was doing.
Okay. I'm pooching. Hello, welcome, welcome, welcome. Today I have with us a good friend of mine, Kevin Connelly.
Yes.
Great. Kevin is the founder of ReConnect, and he is the reason that I am constantly going into ice baths, which many of you have probably seen. I'm trying to make it a weekly thing because I feel the difference, but Kevin's going to explain why it makes me feel so good, why it's important, and the correlation of why we should be doing breath work. So this is going to be a combination of why we do breath work and why ice baths are incredible for our body. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming.
So great to be here on
So
this
good.
beautiful morning.
It is a beautiful morning. We're here in Playa Del Carmen, top secret location. You don't know what beach we're on.
That's right. That's right.
Only the locals know.
Only the locals know.
So, Kevin,
Yes.
tell us why you went from, because when I met you, you were not in this profession. You
Yeah.
did not have ReConnect. You were not running ice baths. You were not running breath work. And then slowly and surely, you became extremely educated and took course after course after course. And I was just like, oh my God, this guy's incredible. Like, you just kept expanding your knowledge on breathwork and the body and cold therapy. So why?
Yeah. So I was in a really bad depression at the end of 2020, and I knew that I needed help, but I essentially didn't want to go the antidepressant route. So I went to a shaman instead, and he gave me some good suggestions, but ultimately I landed on breath work. I was so energetically depressed at the time that I really couldn't even get off my couch to go and do yoga, meditation, meet people, the things I wanted to do. But when I found breath work, I knew that that's something that I could do just on my couch by myself. So I started doing breath work, and within a few days, I was completely out of the depression. And essentially, the next year was learning why that happened. And I really wanted to understand why and how did I use my breath to pull myself out of such a deep, dark place so incredibly quickly. Right around the same time, someone introduced me to ice baths. So I kind of found both of these things simultaneously, very luckily. And so breath work kind of became a staple in my practice. And then cold therapy started slowly. I knew that it helped me feel good, but I didn't really quite understand why. So cold therapy took a little bit longer for me to understand and to grow my knowledge of. But now that I know what I know, I understand that both of those things were just such a catalyst in supporting my recovery and my exit from depression, if that's what you want to call it. Yeah.
Incredible. I think so many people can definitely resonate with finding themselves in a depression, you know, whether it runs in their family or they've had it before. And I'm really proud of you that you chose to go a holistic route, because I do think that is the harder route to go. And it takes more balls, and you did it.
Thanks, sister.
really, really awesome. Okay. So let's talk about the correlation.
Yeah.
What's so awesome about breathwork? What's so awesome about cold therapy?
Yeah. So most people, when they hear the word breathwork, they don't really understand its full scope of how it affects your body. Most people say either I'm breathing fine or like, I know it's not going to help me. But people don't understand that if you're breathing dysfunctionally, or in a way that is actually hurting your body, which many of us are doing, it affects so many other systems within your body. And I'll give you just one really quick example. So most people are actually overbreathe. They breathe too much and too fast all day long. Now, when you do this, once or twice throughout the course of the day, you're in a breathwork session or something, it's fine. But when you're doing this all the time, what happens is your kidneys release a compound called bicarbonate in a process called buffering, essentially. It's trying to balance your body for that overbreathing. So when you pee, this bicarbonate is released in your urine. But if you're constantly doing this, that bicarbonate is taking calcium, it's taking phosphorus, it's taking all these nutrients that are essential to your cells working properly in your body. So you're essentially just peeing out all of these chemicals in your body that are meant to keep you balanced. And unfortunately, this is one of the many, many side effects that happen. So for that reason, I think it's super important for anyone to just try and understand where their breathing is at, if they have any dysfunctions in their breathing. And it's pretty simple to work with someone on this. So that's the, in a nutshell, that's the main reason, is that breath work really helps you to understand how to better keep your body in line so that you can avoid all these additional problems that generally happen if you're not breathing properly.
Love it. Love it. Okay, let's go into breathing dysfunctions.
And so you can just close your eyes and just breathe normally as you were doing throughout the course of the day. And so generally, first thing that we look for is range of motion and location of movement, okay? So the first thing I'm going to look for is, where is your breathing coming from? So your breathing is coming right about here, so right around your belly and your ribs, which is great. That's where you want it to be. So many people are breathing up here in their chest. Problem with that is you start using auxiliary breathing muscles, like your shoulders, like your neck, and that starts to cause stress, it starts to cause tension, and it leads to so many other issues in your body. So that's location of movement. Then we want to look at range of motion. So when you breathe, it's really important what's moving where. So your belly is moving up, that's great. And then your main breathing muscles are your intercostals and your diaphragm. So in order for those to work properly, when you take a breath in, you want to feel your ribs going out, okay? So the problem that many people have is that when they breathe or when they take a deep breath, they go, they move their shoulders up and they breathe upwards. They breathe vertically rather than horizontally. So you don't want to breathe up like this. You want to breathe out. You want your breath to come out like this. And then you want your ribs to come out as well, because that's what's really moving your breath. So when you take a breath in, just work on pushing your ribs out and your belly comes out. Good, yeah. And then one more time, just push your ribs out. Perfect. Yeah, exactly. So those are two of the main areas that I will work with folks on. Just trying to get them to shift their breathing from their chest down to their belly and their ribs, and then just working on that lateral movement and the expansion of the breathing muscles.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, if someone does this test on themselves and they're like, oh my God, I am moving all up in my chest and my shoulders, what's one thing they can kind of implement right away to start to transform their breathing patterns?
Yeah, great question. First is just going to be to think about using your belly and your diaphragm more when you breathe. And you can do that by actually just placing a book on your belly. Just lying down right like this, placing a book on your belly and just working on every inhale. You're just puffing your belly out and pushing that book up. And just working on bringing it down. What you can also do as you're doing that is just keeping your hand on your chest and just making sure that that book is moving more than your chest. It's okay if your chest moves a little bit up. You want to prevent it from coming straight here. So it can come out, but not up. So if your chest moves a little bit, that's fine. But you really just want to work on pushing that book up and just kind of retraining those muscles to do what they were designed to do.
Okay, so this is something that someone should pay attention to.
Absolutely.
So if they recognize this, they can't just think, oh, I'm going to start belly breathing. They should actually implement some sort of a daily practice.
100%.
And if a daily practice is too much for them to take on, a few times a week is good. But it's just like working out. It's just like changing your habits. You have to implement a practice.
It is exactly like working out. Yeah. I mean, retraining those muscles it takes a little bit of time. But you can, even with short-term practice, if you practice a lot every day, you can start to see some really great changes. But it is something that you have to, keep at. You have to keep going. But the great thing is that when you correct that breathing, and with regular practice, you see so many other things improve. You see your anxiety go down. You see your stress, not diminish, but you gain better control over it. It just allows you to be a little less reactive. And so many studies have confirmed that proper breathing, continues to improve your mental health in so many ways.
Yeah.
Are, I think, two of the most important things that we can do. Yet each of those we only do a few times a day. Breathing is 20 to 25,000 times every single day. So we have all these opportunities to improve it. And for those people who don't think it affects them, anything that you're doing that many times throughout the course of the day, it's obviously going to impact your body for better or worse.
Okay.
In the evenings, you can do it in the mornings as well if you like, but it's really just for calming your nerves. It's really great for any stress, any anxiety, depression, but it's a simple practice. So when you're ready, you can go ahead and close your eyes. That feels good. And take a few easy breaths here, just as you would normally. In through the nose and out through the nose. Just feeling that breath wherever it is. And as you breathe, I want you to begin to decrease your inhales. So I want you to take your inhale from 100%. I want you to take it down a little bit to about 80%. So when you breathe in, get to about 80% of an inhale, and then stop, and then exhale out. You're just trying to create a little bit of air hunger here. This is part of this exercise is helping to build our CO2 tolerance, which is actually an amazing chemical that we produce. But because most of us overbreathe, we are constantly pushing it out of our body when what we need to be doing is holding on to more of it. Just continue breathing at about 80%. Just getting used to that small air hunger. When you're ready, we're going to bring it down a little bit more. So bring it to about 70%. So inhaling and leaving about 30% in that inhale. And again, we're working on tolerating an air hunger. So it's supposed to be just a little difficult. You're not really trying to push yourself here, but you're just looking for that balance between easy and a little hard. And what we're working towards is that we're barely breathing in and out, but we're just slowly working our way there. All right, if that feels good, we're going to bring it down just a little bit more to a 60%. So you're breathing in a little bit more than halfway. You're stopping. And then you're exhaling it out. Anytime you're practicing this, if you get too stressed or out of air, just take a big breath in, just catch your breath, and then just go back to it. There's no reason to ever stress yourself out when you're doing breath work. It's a slow practice that you move through and that you improve in over time. Good. And just getting to a point where you're feeling very little air come in and out your nose. And again, that air hunger that you're feeling is a good thing. It's part of training. It's part of retraining ourselves to tolerate that carbon dioxide. The more carbon dioxide we have in our body, the more our blood vessels dilate, the more they open up, the better circulation it actually creates. So this increases blood flow to our brain, it increases blood flow to our extremities. Super important. It also really helps with anxiety. Most people feel like they need to breathe a lot when they have anxiety. But actually what you really need to do is is breathe, but breathe a little bit less and let that carbon dioxide build up. All right, whenever you're ready, you can just return to your normal breathing. Just noticing any changes in your body. Just recognizing how that felt.
Ah, that was hard. I really felt the air hunger.
Yeah.
But I definitely feel calmer, weirdly enough. It was like this battle between like my body and my brain, you know?
Mm.
My body was enjoying it. My brain was confused. My brain was like, breathe more. And I was like, no.
Same in the ice, right?
Yeah, exact same in the ice.
Yeah. But that's where the growth happens. You know what I mean? Every time you're having that conversation with your brain, I feel like that's when real growth occurs.
Oh my God. Whew. Okay, so if someone's going to practice that, you recommend either sitting upright, tall spine, or lying down.
Lying down.
Lying down.
Yeah.
Best. Okay.
Lying down for that. And that's called a breathe light exercise.
Okay.
So that's a Buteyko method. Buteyko is a famous Russian, technically Ukrainian breath expert and doctor who was one of the first people to understand the importance of carbon dioxide in our bodies.
Incredible. Incredible. Okay. So now that I would be in perfect condition to go into my ice bath now because I feel so calm that nothing could bother me. Nothing could be hard for me right now. Could I run a marathon? Probably not. But could I sit in ice cold water and have that body to mind conversation of like keeping myself calm, my nervous state calm? Yeah, definitely. So let's do the ice bath.
Let's do it. Ready.
So I just got out of the ice bath. I challenged myself with 5 minutes today. I'm feeling pretty proud of myself. It's also like a pretty hot day, so I have to be grateful for that. And now I'm just gonna do some gentle movements to kind of like warm my body back up. A lot of people here, what they do is I notice they'll do like sprints up and down the beach, or they'll do jumping jacks, or they'll do something to like bring their body heat back up. But to be honest, I kind of like the cold feeling, but I have always liked cold water. Like all growing up, my dad and I used to go in any body of water that was cold. My dad and I would race to get into it. So I do have a love of cold therapy already. But I hope that you enjoyed this, and I really hope that this brought some insight into other holistic therapies that may be able to help with depression, anxiety, just overall helping you balance out your body. what I'm trying to do for you.